Will Flanders, standing by from Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty to talk about this. This is pretty scary stuff, especially when parents want more choice. But Democrats are saying, not only are you not going to get more, you're going to get less. You're frustrated with the schools. Too bad. You're stuck with them. Good to have you.
Yeah, thanks very much. And you're absolutely right. This is, the whole national environment is moving in the opposite direction. School choice is more popular than it's ever been before. And yet what we see from both the legal side with things like Minocqua Brewing, as well as these bills from Chris Larson and some other Democrats, is that they want to take away choice completely. It's not the, phase it out kind of thing. And I mean, they use the phase it out language, but this will end choice. It will end the educational options for every low-income family in the state. And this is getting pretty serious.
All right. So this is a tell as well. You have the lawsuit from Minocqua Brewing. I don't even know how that guy has standing. By the way, I'd love to. I wouldn't if I tried to bring that lawsuit. And you've got the MAPS lawsuit, which is meaning to completely upend the Republican majority. And the Democrats are introducing pieces of legislation that would gut the school choice program entirely. They're telling you what their intentions are. This is going to happen if they can make it happen. What happens besides giving lower income parents, not exclusively low income, but lower income parents the ability to escape this? Besides the escape not being available, what are we talking about in terms of loss for these kids?
Yeah, so there's so much evidence that's built up over the years about the benefits of school choice. We see higher test scores, with less money spent. We see less involvement in criminal activity. Students that go through the choice program are less likely to become involved in crime, become involved in even things like paternity lawsuits. We see better persistence in getting into college and then graduating from college. So all of these benefits we've built up over 30 years are at risk if these programs come to an end. But as we know from past experiences, it's not kids that matter, it's the teachers' unions. And that's what we see with all these bills. They're just a gift to the union.
So it's getting rid of special needs scholarship. It's getting rid of school choice. It's putting school choice teachers through a DPI licensure nightmare. It's effectively making it so difficult for a school choice school to operate that the school choice school can't operate. And the Democrats will then say, but we didn't do it. That's not what we did. It's stunning to me, especially since the Democrats are constantly saying that special needs kids can't get into school choice schools. Well, we have special needs scholarships, and they know that's a lie. And so they want to take away special needs scholarships to help cover the cost, the additional cost that private school choice schools would need for certain types of disabilities.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The left keeps making this argument, and you see it with Wisconsin Watch, that choice schools don't educate kids with special needs. But this program exists. There are 2,000 kids around the state of Wisconsin that are taking advantage of it. And it's growing over time. It's gone from under 1,000 to over 2,000 over just a few years. So there are special needs kids being educated in choice programs. And the only folks that are actually trying to make that not happen are the Democrats with these proposals. Yeah,
this is pretty remarkable, especially since we managed to get some additional school choice funding in the last budget. I was looking at the WIL dashboard, the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty dashboard on schools. And, I mean, you can find high-performance schools, but about as good as you're going to get is 57%, 60% of kids being proficient. Most schools have that reversed. But we're considering high-success K-12 public schools as 60% being acceptable. No wonder you've got kids going into admittedly non-competitive universities who can't figure out how to use a table of contents and admitted that they've never read a whole book in their entire school life. That's astonishing to me. Why wouldn't you want parents to be able to escape what is absolutely the opposite of education, even if you've got high-performance schools at 57%?
Yeah, it is crazy to think about, isn't it, that when what we call success is if 40% of kids are not reaching levels of proficiency that we deem acceptable. And we know also that the bar has been lowered over time. What gets you through and into college today is not what would have gotten you through 20 years ago. We have tons of kids from all schools across the state needing remedial classes when they get to college, and that's from the successful schools. What we really have is mediocrity across the entire system. And those kids that are most desperate, those in Milwaukee and Madison and other cities around the state that are really failing kids, those are the ones that are going to be completely left behind under Larson's bills.
Since the Democrats claim they care so much about brown people and black people, what are the numbers for African Americans and Hispanics in Milwaukee and Madison in terms of proficiency? The last I looked it up in Milwaukee, and admittedly, I think I had 2019 numbers, so those are a little bit old. It was around 9%. And it was not different, much different in Madison. What does the dashboard say? Unfortunately, I don't have it pulled up right in front of me right now, but it can. And if you just look at Black and Hispanic students who, if they were poor, would qualify for vouchers. What are we talking about K-12 public education success looking like for them?
Yes, so we have heavily African American schools with 0% proficiency in Milwaukee, and overall. We have proficiency rates under 10%. I think it's under 5% for African American students, a little higher for Hispanic students in the teens. But again, we're still failing 80% of kids in those communities. And when you think about Larson, when you think about the Minocqua Brewing, these folks are essentially modern day George Wallace's, standing in the schoolhouse door saying you're not going to have the opportunity to change things. You're not going to have an opportunity for a better education.
So what ends up happening when you can't read and you can't do basic math. Your likelihood of success is very, 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 very low. It's very, very low. I'm almost non-existent, actually. If you can't read and you can't do math, what is the expectation of a young black kid in Milwaukee or Madison, or a young Hispanic kid in Milwaukee or Madison? What is the expectation of their success? Now, I know that I was actually talking to Professor Pesta at University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh, and they have socially promoted, based on race alone, students into the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh. They can't read. They can't read, Will. So how does that help by just saying, well, we won't teach them to read, but we'll give them free college education?
Yeah, why did WMC want to be so involved in the school choice bills last session? Because they're realizing that there's not a workforce that's prepared for the jobs of today. And these aren't even, necessarily college education requiring jobs, right? These kids are coming out of high school not even able to follow basic directions because they can't, they can't read, they can't write, and they don't have any of the skills that really apply not only to going to college, but even for the workforce. So, Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce is seeing that issue. That's why, they were so involved getting this choice increase passed last session. And it highlights, again, this is an across-the-board problem. Not only are we not going to have kids that are prepared for college, we don't have kids that are prepared for the jobs that are available today. They can often be better than going to college and getting a liberal arts degree in many cases.
Yeah, they won't be ready for trade jobs. They won't be ready for blue-collar jobs. They don't need a college degree. They won't be ready for your average manufacturing job because you actually have to be able to read and understand directions in order to get those jobs. So should we expect all of the employers in Wisconsin to provide remedial tutoring for reading and mathematics for everybody they hire? Because it's getting to that point. But the employers won't do that. They'll just simply, they'll either try to automate, they'll go out of business, or they'll look for an alternative workforce. And that alternative workforce may be non-American citizens on work visas or something like that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We see many countries across the world do a much better job in educating their workforce than we do. Even the United States as a whole, we're towards the bottom among industrialized countries. So yeah, you're absolutely right. These folks are going to have to look outside of the United States if they want to hire employees in many instances. That obviously doesn't help folks here at home when we don't have these opportunities and we're graduating folks with no skills whatsoever.
Yeah, the Democrats are telling you what their intentions are if they are able to seize back control of the legislative maps, blow up the Republican majority. They're telling you everything you need to know. And that is one of those things is they are going to destroy choice options for parents who have used them to escape utter failure in K-12 public schools. Thank you so much for joining me on the program, Will.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You as well. We'll take a break. And I want to just say this. You want to know who's put out any information about this story? Well, that would be the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty. Where's the big story in the State Journal? Why don't you go and interview black parents, poor black parents who have used vouchers to get their kids out of the failure, the violence of the Madison public school system? We'll be right back.